Hello, everybody, and welcome to Off the Record with
Judah,
Kirk,
and Gabe.
Today we're going to be talking about DCKO 4?
Number 4.
Four.
Yep, number 4.
Wait, we got to give credits to the creative team.
Credit where credit is due.
Before we hop right on in, we have...
Gosh, I'm sorry.
This is co-written by Scott Snyder and Josh Williamson with art by Javi Fernandez. Yeah, that's the credits.
Wonderful,
So,
yeah.
The art in this is fantastic.
And slight spoilers as well for, well, I guess massive spoilers, but also slight spoilers for Night Fight.
Yeah.
At least the resolution of what Night Fight is, which I did get a chance to read. I know you two had been reading it with like your comic stack stuff, and you were, before even doing that, you were keeping up to date with it. So I caught up real quick, and I have read that, and you should too.
Yes. But, okay, Kirk, thoughts overall?
Overall, really good.
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting. I feel vindicated a little bit. We'll get into why probably soon. Feel a little vindicated about some of my predictions for this. And I just thought it was really interesting. As always, artwork, insane. Yeah. I especially loved the Darkseid artwork, which comes about halfway through.
Yeah.
Genuinely really, really good. What about y'all?
Gabe?
I'm gonna start off, and it's gonna sound bad, but I promise. That's not what I mean. This was probably the worst of the 4, in my opinion, overall. I liked it the least.
That's certainly an opinion.
That's still... Yeah. It's still... You literally agreed with me when I told you that. Anyway.
Opinions change.
Yeah.
Beside the point. Anyway, it's still like a solid comic. Great read. I had a ton of fun reading it. So... In quotes here, least, as if that's a bad thing. It's still, amazing.
Yeah.
I think it somehow it felt less surprising than the other ones was part of why I didn't like it as much. Whereas the other 3, there was, all of them, there was at least one moment where I was like, what?
Yeah.
And in this one, it was kind of like,
Yeah,
it was
felt
still
very
engaging,
linear, like A led to B led to C, which was good.
And even the quote unquote twists were still like, oh, that makes sense, or oh, that just kind of helps the plot be smoother, instead of being like, whoa, no way, they killed Shazam, type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A
spoiler for the event,
for number 1.
Number 1, which was months ago.
Yeah. Yeah, but you get that moment with Shazam. They didn't need to kill him for the plot. They could have just had him not be fast enough to get,
So it just didn't have as many twists for you that were interesting
in
that kind of way.
I mean, that was part of it. It was just culmination of things. But still, art was amazing. The story was good. They did a good job of wrapping up things in it. Yeah.
Gabe? Or sorry, Judah?
Gabe.
Judah.
Again.
Gabe,
No,
you were talking Judah.
Gabe.
Next.
I think it's really good overall. I think about half of it I don't like as much as the other half. But I went back, gave it a second reading, and I think I liked even more than when I first read it, the second half of this issue. I was just like, this is great.
It is really where things get going.
Yeah, it's
the
really
second
where
half
things
was
are going.
really
And I think the first half, I agree. I agree about the first half. The first half is the objective worst part, quotation marks, of this entire event. Or not this entire event, because I've read
the 4 issues.
Of the main event.
Issues, of the main event. And it's still 8 out of 10.
Right.
It's not. It feels iffy to me because it kind of feels like an absolute universe marketing plug. And Batman marketing plug. That's kind of what the first half feels like. And then the second half, peak. Mm-hmm. It might be very close to 10 out of 10. It is.
Yeah.
Insanely well done, in my opinion. Going back and rereading it's great. Yeah,
I said while I was reading it that the first half I agree with you guys. It's a little bit less stuff going on, less interesting, more plugs for other things, which is fine. But I mentioned to you guys that it seemed like this was just a longer issue than the others have been, and I think it just felt that way because of the first half being a little bit well, I mean, we have less you think about every issue, they're all 40 pages, but this what happens in this, there's 4 things that happen in this, and all the other issues it's
20 things that are going on all at the same time.
Which is part of what makes it cool and interesting.
We're managing so many characters. We're doing so many plot threads. We're building up to like a moment where we have, not as many characters basically, which is here.
Maybe that makes this comic more of a calm before the storm of issue number 5.
Yeah.
Yes. Where it's like everything's been going crazy for so long, and now we get one comic that's kind of like slow and ease in, but still pushes towards that brink that hopefully issue 5 will be.
Yeah.
Well, social media manager side of me over here to remind you guys to leave a like, leave a comment with your thoughts, subscribe, ring the bell, go follow us on Off the Record JK as well on Instagram. That is a long list of things to do, but some of you do all of them, so thank you very much. And I know that we have somewhere around 1,200 monthly audience right now, and 41 now. We've exceeded 40, which is awesome. Thank you guys. 41 subscribers, but obviously we need to pump those numbers up. So please subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it.
We would.
Now, I also want to, since I mentioned some of my predictions slightly coming true in some ways, I want to spend a couple of minutes actually focusing on that with all of us. So reverse order, Judah, what predictions did you have, whether you said it or didn't, that either did or did not come true in issue 4?
Okay, so I kind of thought that we were going into like a hero versus hero direction, but not like the traditional one. And I was wrong. Mm-hmm. That's not where we were going at all. And also, I didn't think we would include anything from the Absolute Universe. I was also wrong. Is there anything I was right about? Lex Luthor playing a big role, but my thought in that was not right. And someone else here had a better guess. I think I was overall wrong a lot of the time, because this has gone... There's kind of like there's like a safety net of like I have a large history of DC events in my like backlog, so I kind of like, here's what the safe events do, and I kind of was like playing in that field. This event is not safe at all. Like they put all of the cards on the table. Everything was possible at a certain point, and I could not have predicted the direction that we were going in.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that might be a little bit of a benefit to me with being very removed from DC.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but we'll get that. No, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah. I mean, first I want to mention, kind of on the safety net thing, they still stayed in it up until this point a little bit, since our final 4 was was Joker, Wonder Woman, Superman, and Luthor.
Yeah, it was safety in the way of it's like the ones that they know everybody's interested in.
But they need to make money, so whatever.
It's not Firestorm, guys. It's not Firestorm.
Gosh, that would have been.
Why
awesome.
didn't Jay Garrick win? No.
I need to read more Firestorm stuff. Actually.
Yeah. Well, there's a new one coming out.
We might have to cover that.
We will, probably.
Yes. Watch the Comic Stack video in a couple months. Okay, so kind of my thoughts with the whole and predictions and everything like that is I had really 2 main predictions, which maybe that's cheating. If it is, I'm sorry. That's how I do. Or as we found out later in the issue, it's called being Batman.
Yeah. Yes.
Or earlier in the issue?
In the middle of the issue?
Middle of the issue.
Yeah.
It's in the issue. Read
in
the
issue.
But anyway, my predictions were either Superman was going to become King Omega, but in so doing, he was basically going to go kind of evil on us, and then somebody else, possibly Batman, because Night Fight, would have to take him down in it, which would have been an interesting way to go.
Didn't happen.
It didn't happen. My other option was based off of the way that they've been writing the Superman line recently and encouraging Luthor as a mostly hero type person. Like, not quite as hero as Superman, but looking out for
adjacent.
Good and actually...
adjacent.
Yeah, and most specifically wanting to actually do something. Which is, what some of the earlier KO issues were about. Mm-hmm. Like, Superman doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
Luthor will.
Yeah, Luthor has always very much been a character who is anti-something.
Yes.
Not pro-something, but anti-something.
Yes.
And that can very much be good villain storylines, as has been proven by Luthor's existence over the last however many years. Judah, you would know. 90, yeah. So obviously that's good, but it is also interesting to do new things, which this entire event is them doing new things, as we have spoken about.
Interesting about.
And so
Luthor.
now he wants to be a villain who's for something.
Right? It's actually, and I think that's part of what made that comic run and this prediction, and it did, spoilers, come true.
Cool. Yeah.
But that's what makes this so interesting, is the fact that instead of Superman being pro something and Luthor being anti something, it's Superman's anti change and anti doing stuff, and Luthor is pro change, pro doing things, pro actually, making an impact.
And I think that's pretty cool.
Hopefully a positive one. So anyway, my thought was Luthor would beat Superman, and that happened.
Yeah. That was not my prediction. However, it was my hope. Because I feel like that's a lot more interesting.
That was my prediction. What I didn't predict, though, I will say, what I expected was that if they went the Luthor beats Superman route, they would have gone the Joker beats Wonder Woman route, and you would have gotten ruthless villain of Joker versus cold, calculated, but potentially redeeming villain to hero kind of guy of Luthor, and give him a chance to actually be have a hero moment in defeating Joker.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that we didn't get hero versus hero or villain versus villain.
Yeah, at a minimum, that's kind of
like overplayed.
Yeah.
It is a little bit. I thought that probably, but also because it's overplayed, it's in quotes safe. And so I guess there's a little bit of...
It falls within the safety net.
There's a little bit of me playing in the safety net. Anyway, that part of the prediction they didn't do.
Yeah.
At all.
At all. Which is good.
Which is good.
Yeah. I mean, we did get Crazy Joker.
We did get Crazy Joker, which...
Parademon Joker.
Which was kind of cool.
I care for a whole lot.
I thought it was kind of cool. I didn't much like... it's kind of getting into the weeds a little bit, but I didn't much like that he was just like, okay, I'm just going to switch sides now. Like, okay, Italy, thank you very much for that. But that's boring.
It also didn't...
I liked that it happened. It just did feel weird. You're very right on that. But to my predictions / good ones / bad ones, which was your phone again. 2 in a row now. 2 videos in a row.
Everybody blame Gabe.
Yeah. Go to the comments and say...
What can I say? I'm popular.
Say boo Gabe.
Boo.
Boo Gabe boo.
Okay, so my prediction... I think my main one was, and it both did and didn't come true, was I still thought that it would be more or less a tournament style, right? Because they had the whole tournament, branching off to the left and to the right, and I thought they would just continue that all the way through. They do continue. They still have the brackets, right? Yes. Even by the end, which spoilers. At the end, it is
Lex
Luthor and Darkseid
versus Darkseid. That's the
in the actual brackets, right? Yes. So, but they're still using the brackets, and they did also have. Well, so where it was wrong is it was all of them, including the Absolute Universe spoilers, people fighting Darkseid and them just being picked off one by one and losing, right? And that's not very bracket-like. That's not very one-on-one tournament style. But in the end, Luthor realized, wait a second, this is still a tournament with a bracket.
Yeah.
And so Luthor, when it's just him and Superman left fighting Darkseid, turns and kills Superman.
Yes.
Because he realizes what I was thinking was going to be the case, it's still a tournament.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I was still correct with my prediction that it was a tournament. However, there was also, the majority of this issue was just first them fighting each other, then them all fighting Darkseid, and not being tournament style, which is interesting. Again, every single issue they've done like a twist on this just being, brackets and everybody fighting each other, right? Really interesting twist. It's been really cool to see what they've been doing. This was just another twist on it, while still very just underlying. It was still kind of that. But what was my other prediction? I forget what my other prediction was. I had 2.
You probably predicted that Batman was going to come back.
No,
that
was not my prediction. I had something.
I did want to say, though, to Luthor's credit, in his reasoning, he probably realized there it was set up in a tournament for a reason, in that they're all weaker than Darkseid the way they are now.
Yeah.
Or were, I guess. But in completing the tournament, in finishing the tournament and getting a semi-finalist or whatever, now someone else is, or finalist, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because there's two of them.
Yeah. And getting the second finalist, now Darkseid doesn't technically have the King Omega powers of the Heart of Apocalypse or something.
Yeah.
So it's potentially going to be a fairer fight, or at least more likely to be than when Darkseid can just blip them all off one by one.
Potentially. And actually, that reminds me now. My second prediction was just the Absolute Universe characters they weren't actually like them being evil. They were just completely under Darkseid's sway, which was not a very bold prediction to make.
No.
It was a pretty safe prediction to make. But they spent a lot of time proving me right on that one.
Yeah.
So like they spent a lot of time actually. Like it was a fair few pages there that was like, by the way, Kirk was right. Which is exactly what they were trying to say. They were trying to say me specifically was right. Yeah. So.
Although there was still the chance that he wasn't, because Absolute Batman shows that the villains are seeking to break the characters, are seeking to break them. So there was probably a couple moments where people would be like, wait a minute. Is this the future of the Absolute Universe coming out here? And it is, but not in the way they think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Again, you got to read the issue.
Yes.
And also the Absolute Universe.
Yes.
And also a lot of tie-ins for some of these.
And watch all of our videos on all of these.
Yes. And what did we've talked about the bulk of this issue, right? We've talked about all of the big flashy things. I particularly liked the part at the end where we get Saturn Girl, and we are in the Absolute Universe's future, and we're dealing with, again, we have not had a clear name. They're the Omega Legion, or the Absolute Legion, or the Evil Legion of Superheroes.
Darkseid Friends.
Or Darkseid Friends, or the Darkseid Legion. We have not named them yet. DC, you're failing at marketing. Name them, please.
Names do go a long way.
Yes, they do. So we get Saturn Girl, and she's going into basically the inner chamber to see our homeboy.
Was it just me, or did Saturn Girl look a lot like Amelia Clark?
I didn't personally think that, but I think
there was just one frame that just for some reason. I know this is the most random thing in the world, but for some reason.
Okay, I mean,
let us know if you saw that.
Yeah, if you think Saturn Girl looks like Amelia Clark, I don't even know who that is.
She was in Marvel for a second.
Well, who is she?
In Secret Wars.
Oh, the Game of Thrones chick.
Yeah, the Game of Thrones as well. Yeah.
Actually, I do see that.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
That's weird. Anyway,
I'm sure it's a total coincidence.
Okay, when she goes to see our homeboy, who, by the way, his face is looking immaculate. It's great. Darkseid, if you don't know who we're talking about.
No, you're talking about me.
Yes.
Look
Kirk.
at me. I know we don't have a camera, but
yeah, everybody look at Kirk. Look up Kirk online.
Please don't.
What are your thoughts? Because I really loved that entire scene until from when we kind of cut forward to the end of the issue.
Yeah,
I love that part. So
I was just lost for a lot of it. I didn't realize until you just said it that they were in the future of the Absolute Universe. Yeah. I did pick up when it was very plainly told that the Absolute characters were pulled from slightly in their futures from what we've seen so far. So I did pick up on that.
Yes.
I did not pick up on what you just said, but I thought that overall it was pretty interesting. I like the Absolute Universe, and that was set in the Absolute Universe.
Therefore.
Yeah, so I thought it was cool. Again, Darkseid just looked really cool there. The artwork, again, insane. It was awesome.
Yeah.
If you're this far into the video and you've not gone and bought this thing and looked at it,
you gotta do that.
There's a problem with
Heavy recommend.
Seriously.
Yeah.
As far as plotline stuff, a lot of it actually had to do with just what I had thought was going to be the case, which was that they were under his control rather than choosing to be in this tournament and fight and all that. So a lot of that was just kind of proving that. And so I was like, okay, yeah, I thought so. So I wasn't as interested. But still, it was good.
Okay.
Yeah. Gabe?
Yeah. I have to kind of agree with Kirk on that, where I was kind of a little lost on things, and it didn't hit as hard as maybe somebody who's read DC for, a lot of their lives and loves DC and, adores Superman and knows all about Darkseid and can name any, major DC event and minor DC event.
Whoever this may be. Whoever this may be.
I feel targeted.
Anyway, so, there were things that I think I didn't pick up on that would have made it significantly cooler. Not to say it wasn't cool, but it just kind of felt like, okay, and Darkseid and Saturn Girl and
who is Saturn Girl?
I have no idea who Saturn Girl is. That means nothing to me. It's
Judah,
part of the issue.
Judah, explain.
She is at least a top 5 Legionnaire.
What's a Legionnaire?
That doesn't mean anything to me either.
So anyway, you get the point.
We don't have enough time. There's not enough hours in the day.
You get the point.
Oh my gosh. So that proves our point, actually. Well, Gabe's point.
Yeah, but it was still very good, very interesting, and I liked that. That part of it was kind of a revelation of what had happened previously in sort of the setup of DCKO, or Darkseid's response in the middle of it, where he's like,
actually,
I know they're trying to mess with things, but I'm Darkseid and I've got a plan.
Yeah, I feel like that should have been maybe more towards the beginning. Because again, it wasn't exactly out of left field that it was just them being controlled.
Yeah.
They were being forced to do this, the Absolute Universe characters.
Mm-hmm.
So throwing that a little bit earlier in the comic, and that being a very interesting moment in the latter half of the comic, might have balanced... Comic may have balanced out the comic a little bit more, where you were saying like, oh, I really like the back half but not the front half. So maybe that, because it didn't need to specifically be there in the story necessarily. It was right as they were trying to break the sway on the Absolute characters, so in that sense it was kind of, it flowed from that, but I feel like it could have been earlier.
They could have done the exact opposite and started on that half, which would then set up the idea of, oh, dang, he's bringing the Absolute characters. He's got the Absolute characters. And then
Can they save them?
And then ended the comic on, with more of the, oh, they actually broke this way and turned them against him. Yeah. Dang, he thought he had his plan going all along, but we wrecked it, and then it's actually Luthor
and that
chimes in with the, but, y'all, this is Darkseid, which means... he's still got a plan. Yeah. That could have been interesting.
That goes into a little bit of what I was saying as I was reading this, that it seems like it just kind of kicks off a little too quickly. Mm-hmm. Before, we always had a page or two of kind of characters at least talking about the whole thing, or to each other, or about what their plans are for all this, or doing the board game thing, or doing the dream one, where it's this is your dream with Superman, and then all that, and the endless void of laughing from Joker, which was funny. And there was always kind of a cold open, essentially. The cold open for this is, the 4 of them versus the 4 of them. Next page, title card. Next page, die. It was too quick. If you threw that more towards the beginning there, then that's kind of the intro. That's the cold open. Right. And then it's this is the problem we're solving today.
All of that said, we don't know what issue 5 is. So it's possible
that is very true.
This build-up is intentional.
We need to have just read
the
this
final
part.
2, going in. And so I hope that's what they've got planned. Otherwise, I'm going to be a little miffed. But
I would think so.
And if that's the case, then I still feel
really good.
If that is the case though, and the build-up needed to be in this way, then I still feel there should have been something at the beginning where it wasn't just one page. This is the lineup, title card, fight.
Yeah, I agree.
That's fair. It was a little strange to me because that had never been the case for this before, and so just reading, I was like, oh, okay. So
you're totally correct. Yeah. Well, with that being said, this, I think Gabe is correct.
Yeah.
It is the weakest of all the issues for us. There's still like a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like even the first half, I really didn't enjoy. It did feel too fast. It felt like absolute universe plug. It felt like they were corporately shilling a lot in the first half, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And then the second half happens. And part of why I like the second half, and like Saturn Girl showing up and we get to that part, as well as like the absolute characters in our DC boys combining and fighting Darkseid and betrayal of Superman and all that good stuff, right? Like all of the stuff that actually happens in the issue that actually happens in the second half of the issue is because it doesn't feel like this is a big marketing campaign for all of our numerous characters, you know? Like, it feels really slow, but it's really long action scenes of these characters that's like, I could put this up on the wall. That's what it basically is.
Yeah.
The first half.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it, but I liked the second half.
Definitely our average between the three of us is that this is the weakest issue. They're all great, but this is the weakest. I would not say it's the weakest, except that I think it's probably tied with the last one.
What's your...
Which I think my order is literally... I think that my order has been, till now, the order of the comic. So the most recent one being the weakest every single time. Like I thought it started out strong, and then number 2, and then number 3. And then I think this might be tied with 3.
1 and 3 are the best, and I think 2 and this one are...
Bear in mind,
so-so.
Viewer, that I have not reread any of them. I read once, I record on it, and then that's it.
I have reread all of them.
Yeah, I will reread them all eventually, because with media consumption, I always do. But
they were fighting tag team.
Right, tag team. Yeah, I think my order is actually literally in order of comics.
So first one is worst or best?
Best. First, second, third, fourth in order. But the difference between each of them is kind of minimal until you get to 4, in which case it's like a little bit more.
It's actually noticeable.
Like,
it's like going down from 10 slowly and then dropping like,
I don't know,
2.5 points.
Yeah, I think I would do like 9.5, I think is what we said, something like that for number 1, and then like 9.4, 9.25, and 9.25.
Number 1 I gave...
Yeah.
Number 1 I gave a 10 out of 10, if I remember. And then number 2 I think was 9.5-ish.
Yeah.
Number 3 was 9 to 9.5, somewhere in that range. And number 1, probably a 9 there then. And then number 4 is an 8. Or 8. Yeah,
and I feel like some of that might also just be we've had more time to appreciate the ones that came out earlier, as well as...
These are my reviews from the videos, for the most part.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but also our overall thoughts about the series as a whole so far is that... and also, just we've been with this for so long now, a couple of months. Yeah. Like, a little bit of fatigue. Not that it's bad that it's something that fatigues you.
But we kind of like know where it's going.
That's why there's a term
to get there.
That's why there's the term event fatigue. Yes. You know, in comics, is people slowly get fatigued.
Yeah. Hey, especially for the two of you, and especially with your comic stack, reviewing a lot of the tie-ins.
Yeah.
Both that you were already kind of doing that anyway, and then now as you're doing it for this podcast, in the ones that are at least live coming out and on your poll lists, you have had a lot more of the tie-ins.
Hold up, how many? Yeah.
I've read the Night Fight tie-in, and I've read the boss battle. Was that what it was called?
Yeah,
which we didn't cover at all.
It was not very good.
Yeah, it was not very good. Night Fight was good. Boss Battles was not very good. It was a disappointment. Did not need to be there. I think I described it to y'all as the part of a sentence between the commas. It doesn't need to be there.
I own and have read 37 of the 42 issues as a part of DCKO.
Yeah.
The remaining, 5 have yet to be released.
And I'm excited for all of them because they're probably all going to be peak. And unlike the entire...
So you can understand where maybe some of the fatigue may come from, where, you know, the later ones were giving slightly lower scores than the earlier ones. Where that's
some of these are pretty
kind of a bias.
Some of these are consistently declining. Some of them are inclining. You know.
It beats Marvel with their 9-issue long One World Under Doom, followed by Will of Doom, followed by Dungeons of Doom,
followed by
whatever
Doom 2099.
I have no idea.
Or is that? I thought that was just a following of the trying to end the 2099 thing.
See,
what?
Speaking of Marvel, you guys were way too harsh on that Iron Man #1.
Okay, we can talk about that.
That's a different video.
Since you're talking about it. Anyway. Anyway,
we're gonna talk about that off the scenes.
Yes.
But with that being said,
thank you for listening.
Yeah. Good morning, good evening, and good night. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. All that good stuff.
Your what? Your comments in the comments? I think you meant your thoughts.
Your comments. God bless.
Bye.
Bye.